All right, so this is just going to be a quick update on my plans for Bitcoin. I have not been trading Bitcoin very much. I did take some trades up here on my new account that I'm trading on for my videos. Well, actually, these two trades were on that account. This one was on a separate account, and this was the only winner. But regardless, I haven't been trading much because the conditions have not been great. The one, good trade idea that I feel like I had was looking for a lower high after breaking this 15-minute leg of structure, this uptrend. Once we broke this last leg of structure, I was looking for shorts. That's why I took two shorts here. And this one I closed out early accidentally. I meant to close a portion of the trade, ended up closing all of it. Silly mistake, but it's all right because that one would have gotten stopped out anyway. So this one, I closed at a 0.6% profit on a different account. Both of these were losses. I think this was just an internal market structure break that just ended up being a fake out. And this one got stopped out with this wick before we got the actual dump. So, yeah, I was not able to take a short after we broke structure. From there, we dumped down and have been very boring, honestly. We are forming some structure here, so I am waiting on this structure to break. This is my next, real good trade idea is waiting for this 1 hour structure to break and looking to long this up for a potential lower high on the, larger structure because we have technically broken it. So, the structure following this internal range goes something like this. This back here was actually the lower high, but we'll go from here. And then we broke structure, began an uptrend, put in this higher high, and we have now closed below the last higher low. This originally was a wick. Since we wicked it, and since it was an SFP, it's not a break of structure. So now, since we had this wick, the break of structure line, in my opinion, is this wick, and we have closed below it. So we have broken the internal structure of the range back to bearish. So right now, I am looking at this even more internal structure, and my plan basically goes, I want to see this internal structure break, ideally get a retest for some sort of long position, and then look higher for a potential lower high. So that would be this trade idea. And I think there's a decent chance that this lower high could bring us down to the low of the range. I still want this low to be taken out. I still don't like the fact that the lower high is all the way up here, although at this point the lower high is not that much closer to the low. We got this very large move to the upside, so if we touch the low now, if we come down to touch this low, then the lower high will be right here. I still like that because this is a much more clearly defined lower high than this is. Like, you can call this a lower high on pretty much all time frames, whereas this you cannot. You cannot call that a 4 hour lower high. The 4 hour lower high is actually coming in up here, I believe. Yeah, I mean, we kind of got a false break here, a little uptrend, but yeah, I would call this the 4 hour swing lower high. So if we come down to touch the low, it would do some good. This would be a lower high on pretty much all time frames. So this is, a little plan I have made up to long up to the lower high. For the long, I want to see a break of structure followed by a retest of demand, and this is where I would look to enter. We don't necessarily have to form structure on this internal leg to the downside in order for me to want to long it. Like, we could do something like this where we just, form some sort of range before breaking up and then we just retest it. And, if I see price pulling away from that area, that would be my entry. But, some structure on that low would be better because then I can put a tighter invalidation here. If I took this trade, I'd probably set like a looser stop loss, a little bit below that area of demand. So structure would be nice if we can break this 1 hour lower high and then form some structure on the retracement, ideally into a zone of demand, which I would hope we begin forming sometime soon. Like, I'd want us to, maybe get a little move up, start to range, and then break structure. And just to clarify, that's not the only way I'd look for a long. That's just best case scenario. If we don't get that, then I'll look for the next best option for an entry. Maybe we break structure and, get structure on the retrace, but maybe we only retest the break of structure line. So, in that case, regardless of if we retest demand, I would still follow structure on the retracement if it's a good break. Like, if we get a break, somewhere of this size, like a significant break above that high, then I'd feel pretty confident about following the structure on the retracement. And yeah, if we get a break anywhere significant, then I would consider that significant. If we get a break and it isn't somewhere significant, maybe you don't trust it, then you could just wait for the next entry. There's always a way to enter. Maybe we get a break of structure here and you didn't enter, but then we retrace and get another break of structure. Maybe you want to enter on the second break. Just follow structure. I would set my invalidation here, and then you still have a good risk reward entry. And yeah, you just waited for that second break to maybe show better strength. Or maybe there's some better zone of demand below, like, there is an order block down here. What is this, a 1 hour order block? So yeah, maybe we just break structure and then wick all the way down into that order block. That could be another potential entry. If that were the case, I would definitely set my invalidation below the low though, because I don't trust wicks unless there's structure there. But yeah, this would be best case scenario. Maybe there's a better risk reward somewhere else, like if we form some structure all the way down towards the low and then break structure, that would probably give a better risk reward, just because you can have like the same size stop loss, but you'd be targeting a lot higher. But yeah, basically I'd be following structure after we break structure. So I'd be following the structure from the break of structure, and yeah, I'd be looking for some sort of entry after that, because if we flip this bullish, there's a chance that we go a lot higher for the lower high. Yeah, we can put in the lower high anywhere in this area. And the short trade, I like this area up here. Number one, we have the point of control of the downtrend. We also have a golden pocket. And this was also the last little range that we formed before breaking the 15-minute structure. So technically, let's look at these wicks to make sure I'm correct here, but I believe these were all SFPs right here. So the lower high on the low time frames was right here. Let me zoom out. Another trick, if you hold control, how it pulls up the magnet if you have a tool out. If you are magneted somewhere and you start zooming in or out, it'll do this. So you can just zoom in on one specific area. That's a neat little trick that I didn't find out until recently, so maybe a bunch of other people don't know about that, but let's check and see where these SFPs, this first one was obviously, so let's check here now. Did we get a close below the low on the 5-minute? We did not. So these were all technically SFPs. Maybe on the 15-minute it was different. We should probably check that, but no, it was not. This was pretty much a 15-minute SFP as well. I mean, that is barely a break, and then we got a move back away, so no follow through. I would call that an SFP. So technically, the place where we broke the 15-minute structure was right here. And so this area right here would be the last little range before we broke structure. So I would call that supply. This range is also significant because it produced a very aggressive move to the downside, and also, even more importantly, it produced a move down towards the higher time frame market structure point. It brought us down to this higher low. So yeah, that is another reason why I would consider this area significant. Probably the most significant supply remaining, because above this wick there's really nothing else. So that means in this area we have a nice zone of confluence. You could maybe even pull this all the way up to that high, but yeah, I'm really concerned with how price reacts once we get here, which is why I have this little structure change. I would definitely want to see a structure change in order for me to short, because if we make our way up there, we're flipping structure bullish. So I would want to see structure flip back to bearish in order for me to want to take a short there. And then the other ideas I have is just an SFP of this high, which right now a move up to this high could make sense following structure, because we just had, a higher high here and then the break of structure, so price still can retrace all the way up to this high. So yeah, if we get a move up to there and we SFP it, then that is one short idea right here. And I am looking for an SFP of the low as well. This could be the beginning of a Wyckoff Model 1 or Model 2. It doesn't matter, because with both of them you get an SFP of the original low. So I like to look to trade the second SFP of a significant low if I think there's a chance that it becomes a Wyckoff model. So that is another idea down there. And I think that's pretty much all that I have to go over for Bitcoin today. There's not much else I'm watching. I am done scalping it for now. Yeah, my scalps have just not been working out recently. It's not the right environment to be scalping. So, yeah, I've been trading altcoins more than I've been trading Bitcoin recently. And I also just signed up for BingX because I figured out how to trade stocks, Forex, commodities, and a bunch of other stuff on there. Yeah, that is something that really interests me. I want to try out these kind of trading strategies on stocks, on Forex, and yeah, see if scalping is better on those markets, which they probably will be, considering they're a lot more liquid than Bitcoin is. Just wanted to make a quick weekend update. Hopefully next week I'll be able to post a lot more videos. I know I haven't posted too much the past few weeks. It's just hard. I can't make a video talking about the same thing I've talked about over and over again, talking about like the higher time frames. And when I try to zoom in on the low time frames, it's not been working out recently. The conditions for scalps have not been very good. So hopefully we get better trading conditions in the next week. Maybe I'll start making some altcoin videos. Maybe I'll start making some, Forex or stock videos, just doing technical analysis on a bunch of stuff. We'll see. But yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next video.